friends. Today is Sunday, November 14th, around 4 p.m. and I just wanted to make a video kind of describing how my life has been the last couple of months, where I've been, what I'm thinking, and how I'm feeling. The last time I uploaded an actual video was a couple weeks ago, probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, where we were moving. We officially have gotten mostly completely unpacked. Our spare bedroom still has a ton of decorations that I'm just not using. I'm not into that decoration anymore. And also some of our walls have paneling on them and we're not allowed to put any nails or anything on those walls, even though they're painted over. So that limits what walls we are allowed to put any holes into. But anyways, we already decorated for Christmas, which I know it's super early. We actually decorated November 1st. And now I'm feeling like, wow, that was a little bit early, but it's already November 14th, so it's about halfway through the month, which to me feels extremely overwhelming and weird and wild because this year has gone by really, really, really fast. So I wanted to kind of recap how I'm feeling throughout the pandemic and just share how it feels to be a college student or a grad student in the middle of a global pandemic. I am currently almost completely done with my first semester of grad school. I'll have one more semester after this, which will put me at a graduation date of May 2022. Right now, all of my classes are going really well. I have all straight A's in all of my classes and got all straight A's in the summer classes, but I'm really nervous for the last half of the rest of this month of school, basically, because I'll be done by the end of November, very beginning of December, and I don't go back to school until January 23rd, I believe. So I'll have a good month of time just off. During that month off, I still have to work my practicum because my practicum is a dual thing where I have a year of service and I'm also using it as my practicum. So when I'm not working for practicum hours, I still have to work throughout the months. I have to have 35 hours a week in order to continue my service. That will end in June and I will graduate by May, but getting there is extremely exhausting. I've noticed that my mental health has steadily stagnated or declined a little bit since the pandemic hit. I feel either really good and energized, or I feel just unmotivated. I don't feel depressed. I'm not feeling hopeless or helpless. I'm not. But I am starting to experience some existentialism. And if you don't know what that is, it's kind of like questioning, like, what is the point of Earth, or what is the point of being here? Why are we here? What is, like, kind of questioning everything. And some of that is hitting me a little bit. I think it's because some of the classes I'm in, it's just reiterating how messed up the systems, everything is, from schools, prisons, our healthcare system, to the way that our money in this country flows in and out, just everything, it just gets really overwhelming. That's where burnout happens. So I've had to take a step back and realize, oh, this isn't okay, and I need to nip this in the bud now before I get graduated and go into the field again. I took a 2-year hiatus from school after I graduated with my bachelor's, and I worked as a case manager for 2 years, almost completely, before I decided to quit and go back to grad school. And I wish in some ways that I didn't take the 2 years off because I would have already been done. But I also feel that I developed emotionally, mentally, cognitively, even as an adult, now that I'm almost 25, compared to when I was fresh out of school as a bachelor's level social worker. However, I didn't realize that the pandemic would hit. 2019, right before the pandemic hit, was a big year for me. I graduated college. I started my big girl job. I also got married, and that was all right before the pandemic hit. So that was a lot to handle for myself. A lot of changes, but a lot of good changes. I just took that time to try to develop my skills and see what I'm good at, what I'm not good at. And I realized that macro work was something I was really interested in as a social worker. So when I went back to grad school, that's what I wanted to do to give myself a break. I started to feel a little bit of burnout when I was working as a case manager because our cases were going up, our pay wasn't great. It just started not being a good environment. And I'm having a completely different experience in my practicum. Everyone at my practicum is very trauma informed, very self-care oriented. That part has been really nice, but the work I do is at home, except for on Tuesdays. I'm on the computer 32 hours a week, and then I have class on Mondays where I'm on the computer for like 8 hours as well, with some breaks in between. It's just a lot of time on the computer, and it's not what I'm used to because I've done a lot of direct care work for a long time, so it's very unique that I'm not doing direct work, and I have to be constantly reminded what macro work is and how it ties in with the systems, and how macro work is very slow and you don't see the results oftentimes for a couple of years or for a longer period of time compared to direct work, where I'm getting direct responses from my interventions and what I'm doing. So I can have a client tell me, or a client's parent, or the school, or someone, supervisor, anyone tell me this is doing well or this isn't doing well, or you changed this, or you're doing good at this, and I'm able to feel like I'm being accomplished. Macro work is very different, where it's very slow and it's all long-term stuff, and I am not a very patient person, so that's been really hard. But I'm developing skills that I know as a social worker, no matter where I go after I graduate, that it'll help me. Speaking of after I graduate, I also have to figure out, what do I want to do when I'm done with school? So I have two paths that I want to follow. The first one is, if there's a position that opens up that I'm interested in the current place I'm working right now for my practicum, I would like to apply and get hired there. So that would be one. And then the other avenue that I really am interested in is becoming a school social worker or a liaison. And I'm really interested in school social work. I'm taking a social work class right now that's focused on schools, and it's my absolute all-time favorite class I have ever taken ever in school before. And I don't know if it's because of the professor or just the way that he runs the class. We don't have any books. Basically, he gives us a couple of articles throughout the week to read, and then we go back to class and we discuss and break down and talk about these articles. And it's talking about anything from bullying, trauma, racism, to the way that IEPs and everything, how it all works and connects together, and everything you would deal with in the school setting, and how can you be a good social worker in the school, and how it all connects. And it's very interesting, and I feel like I'm picking up on it really well, and I could work well in the school setting. However, it's very hard to get a school social work position that I would want, because they're very well sought out positions. However, there's always social work positions open. I just personally don't want to be a therapist right out of school. I feel like I would need more experience in the field and learning more about different diagnoses and everything. Even though I've already taken a DSM-5 class and I've worked with mental health in the field a lot, I just want to make sure that I am better equipped to be a therapist, and I think I would need more experience in the field before I do that. I also think school social work would be really fun because you work with the school system, so you're going to be doing the same hours as schools, and that's just a Monday through Friday job. You never really have to have any weekend work, and you get summers and Christmas and Thanksgiving break off, and that's pretty dang good, and you get paid during that time. So I'm really interested in school social work. I am someone who just needs a break. I'm someone who just has to have a break, give myself time to process everything, and I feel like that would work very well for my mental health, for the way that my brain works, how I need time to process things. Mostly I'm looking for more of a case management position in a master's level field within the school social work position. So where I would be helping to evaluate patients, I would be helping to refer them to programs, doing group work, and all of that I'm very interested in, and I'm very well versed in everything, and I've had a lot of experience in different capacities within that field. But I'm also really passionate in macro work, so if I can get a position where I'm at now, that would also work. But it just depends on what positions are open at what time. I started therapy about a month and a half ago. I've had 3 sessions. It's bi-weekly. It's through my university, and it's only $10 a session, which is really cheap and affordable for a college student, especially a college student who's not getting paid a lot for my practicum, which I'm very lucky because my practicum is paid, but I also have to work 32 hours a week compared to 20 to 24 hours for people who are not having a paid position like I am. However, all of that to say, I really like my therapist. I think that I connect well with her. She's very easy to talk to. We're doing it through Zoom, and honestly, it feels just weird through Zoom, which is nice because I, as a case manager, did a lot of sessions through Zoom, and now I'm getting the other effects of it where I'm now the client and someone else is my therapist or case manager, and I get to see how it feels and how the connections are different compared to in person. I'm just a little bit too anxious to go in person right now, so I'm doing sessions through Zoom. Sessions are about 40 to 50 minutes depending on what we're talking about and how the session's going. And that gives me about 10 to 15 minutes to process what I just talked to and get in the right headspace to go back to working throughout the rest of the day. So I'll probably just end up keeping it on Zoom, to be honest, but oh well. I think the most difficult part about working at home and going to school at home and the pandemic and everything is just feeling that isolation as well. I don't feel as connected to my classmates as I do or did with my undergrad classmates. I felt really close to everyone in my undergrad and had some really good friends and made connections and can still count on them to ask questions or to hang out if we're in town with each other. But I'm just not feeling that connection as much with my graduate coworkers or whatever you want to call them. But I'm just not feeling that connection very much as a grad student because it's all online. Throughout the semester, we really haven't had that much homework, but the homework's been increasingly getting more and more difficult and longer throughout the semester, and we're on the last half, and it's just, there's a lot of big projects that are a lot of points at the end, and apparently next semester is even harder where it feels extremely intense and like a lot of classes, a lot of homework, just go, 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 go. I'm glad I was able to get through this semester, but that makes me nervous because I got so used to how this semester is that I'm not sure what to expect for next semester. Honestly, this semester's been a lot easier because I can get behind and then spend like 3 hours on Sunday nights before everything is due on Monday and get everything done and get good grades. But I don't think I'm going to be able to do that next semester. But that ties back to what I was talking about. All of us that are in grad school right now have practicums, who are doing homework. We have our personal lives, we have our professional lives. Everything is just a lot. Some people have families, some people are single, some people are living with their parents, and it's just everybody has to do their own thing. And not everybody wants to hang out or get to know each other, but I think it's important because these are the people that I'm going to school with, that are going to be my coworkers, that I'm going to be their supervisor. They may be my supervisor in the future. They may be people that I can ask for help if they like work in child protective services and I work in the school system. They may be able to provide resources for me and I may be able to provide resources for them and connect. So it's very important to have connections and relationships, and I have made some connections and relationships, but I really wish that I could have made more because I know how important it is after we're done with school and going to be working with each other eventually, or working in the same city as each other and needing each other to ask questions or get help or resources, because that's all social work is. It's about connecting and building relationships and finding resources and helping the system that's broken to work a little bit better. Even though macro work is about trying to derail those systems and rebuild them in a more constructive and ethical way, but that takes a long time. I also just wanted to say that me and Trey were going to start trying to have kids when I was in grad school, but we've kind of pushed back the date of when we might start trying to sometime in the beginning of 2022. I won't say exactly when just because I'm not sure if we will or not, but we both kind of have the realization of, oh, our income is drastically lower than it normally is, our stress levels are higher, or at least mine is, and if I were to get pregnant when we wanted to, which was starting to try in December, that would mean I would only have a few months from when I'm done with my practicum experience in June to when we would give birth. And that's not a lot of time to build up any maternity or sick or vacation time when I am done and get a job. So we're having to re-change things to where I'll have a good amount of time working at a new job after I graduate and I'm done with my practicum in June, that I could have sick and vacation time built up so I can at least take 6 weeks off. Because the United States does not have paid maternity or paternity leave, which is so frustrating, and they were trying to get that passed through the infrastructure bill and it didn't go through, but whatever. That's beside the point. But that's another piece to this whole puzzle and how my life will change, hopefully within 2022. I want to be pregnant by 2022 and have a baby in 2022 or sometime in 2023. That's my big goal. That's what I really want. I want to start a family. Trey wants to start a family. We're ready for that. But yeah, that's kind of just a little insight onto what I'm hoping my life will look like. And if for some reason I'm not able to get pregnant or am struggling, then I will definitely share that experience and be very open and honest about it. I'm someone who I don't think I'm gonna wait the 12-week mark before I announce my pregnancy. So if I get pregnant and I find out and we tell all of our like immediate family members and friends and everything, I would probably announce it pretty quickly on my channel, but it just depends. I'm not sure. I just don't want to go through not telling anybody and then not having any support if something happens, because I know that a lot of women experience miscarriage and then have to go through it completely alone, and that's not what I want to do. So yeah, that was just like a side note. Anyways, I think I'm gonna head out because Trey is going to be getting home soon, but I just wanted to give a life update. Let me know if you want to see any content from me or if you have any questions. Leave them in the comments below. But thank you guys so much for watching. May all your stars align, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.